Hey, what's going on, good people? This is Tori with Dating Right, back at you once again with another reaction video. And this time we're going to be talking about something that had just hit and apparently has blown up. Cam Newton made a statement about women, modern women today, and it's causing a big fuss online. And I heard about it early, and I was like, man, what did Cam say? What is going on? Oh, he done messed up. Like, what happened? And I went to go check it out, and then we're gonna check out this news clip too about it. So we're definitely gonna get into it and break it down. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button though. All right, so let's get into the video.
Happy Tuesday, folks. Welcome to Wake Up Charlotte to Go. This morning we're talking about something that much of Charlotte, and actually much of the country, probably is going to be talking about. And it's because of a gentleman known as Cam Newton, who we know well here in the Charlotte area, made some controversial statements. Some people think there's nothing wrong with what he said. Some people are wildly offended by what he said. And it's basically about what he feels like a woman's role is in a relationship.
Right. So it all started. He was on a recent podcast, Barstool Sports, $1 million worth of game. And he basically was talking about his upbringing, his childhood, and how his parents have been married for nearly 40 years. And he saw how his mom really, raised the family and also treated his dad. And
okay, so what I can gather so far, it seems like he's speaking from a little bit of experience, a positive experience, by the way, that his parents have been married for almost 40 years. I think that's awesome. It's a beautiful thing. I think I come from that type of background. If my dad was still alive, I think him and my mom would probably still be together. I'd be able to brag about that. That's something I want.
So he was asked, what do you think a woman is, or how should she be portrayed, I guess, in the household? And he said his comments about what he think a woman is, and we talked about it on the show today. And then he also referred to women who call themselves boss chicks and what he thinks that should be. Do we have the comments that I put up on the show today, just so I can make sure I read that?
Okay, it looked like they had the soundbite ready.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and play the soundbite.
A woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss, like I'm a this, I'm a that, no, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
I think it was that last part.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what pissed women off right there. That last part of catering to a man's needs. It's like, that's not a big deal. Like, that, you should cater to his needs. Most men, loving husbands, will cater to the woman. But yeah, I think that's the big issue. I think they didn't like the wording of catering to a man's needs, and I'm pretty sure a lot of feminists, they took that and ran with it. But what man wouldn't want a woman to cater to his needs? Every man is looking for a woman that's gonna know how to make him feel like a man, that's gonna treat him like a man, that's gonna be that when he come home from work, after working all day, he would like to come home to a comfortable home. He would like to come home to a comfortable meal. A woman would want the man to cater to her too. Like, but yeah, that's what is pissed. I think that last part definitely ticked off women.
Some people, let us know. Some people like listening. What do you think about what he said? Let us know in the comments.
Listen, so many people on social media are reacting. A lot of people are saying, hey, a woman should know how to cook, and a woman should know how to let the man lead. And then other people are saying that he is not the best person to comment on these things. They did go back to 2017 when he made comments about a reporter, about her talking about routes and how that was funny, and just saying that he doesn't have a history of being in the limelight of talking about this in the best way when it comes to women, in general. So I'm seeing different sides.
Yeah, LaGrace Perry saying that's his opinion. And I think everybody has a right to their own opinion. But I do think that a lot of people in the Christian community would say it is the man or the husband's role to lead or be the head of the household. But I think calling it a boss, what he said, or not being able to cook, doesn't mean you are not a great woman or a great mother or a great wife.
And this is some BS. All because he said you can't cook or you can't clean. Like, Of course. Why would a man be with you if you can't cook? Even if we got the money to have the cooks or the nannies, but what about the days that they are off? What about on a Sunday morning? Can you make breakfast? Like, can you cook dinner for our kids? Like, I don't like this whole, and I think that's what's triggered women the most, the cook and clean part. And it's sad to say there's a lot of women out here who can't cook. Now, some women do cook, but the food is not as good. You see what I'm saying? So, and there's women that cannot clean. They've never been taught how to clean. They've never been taught how to cook properly. A lot of women I know, especially I have family members, they don't know how to prepare a whole entire meal. They only do one dish. You know what I mean? You know that family member that you say, okay, don't let her do the such and such. Just let her do her mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? Versus preparing a whole dinner and cooking it well. And I do know some women who are great cooks. A lot of women have never been taught by their mothers and grandmothers. They never took the time to watch what Big Mama was doing. And, you know, it's sad to say, but it's true. A lot of women cannot cook. They're so used to Uber Eats. But I just think that this is some BS all because, you know, I think the cooking and cleaning part really triggered women. And that's unfortunately because I think they're mad too because a lot of them know they can't cook or clean.
Everybody has, I feel like in a relationship, their pros and what they can do, what they can't do. I think it's the compromise. I think it's what worked best for you. So maybe if this works for him, then, you know, that works for him on what he thinks his differences is. But I think a lot of people will definitely say, yes, I see the woman, you know, letting the man lead. And then also maybe a different way, but that is just whatever floats for your relationship.
Beth says, what a sexist jerk. So Beth feels strongly in one direction. And Joy says, I'm my own woman. I don't cater to anyone but myself.
Now, you said, you know, his parents married 37 years.
Totally.
His dad's a pastor. His mom led worship in church. They still do. And so at Holy Zion Church, right outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so I think with each individual person, sometimes you look at how they're raised. Yeah. And I'm sure, like, he looks to his parents as an example and says, that's what I want in a woman.
Totally.
And then that's the tradition in some Christian families for that to happen, especially like when you grow up in the church, like you definitely see it. I'm just speaking from my perspective, growing up in the church, you see things in a different light than maybe what generations are doing today. But again, time changes and so does relationships. I think it's just what works best for you. And if you want to stick to traditions, okay. I think it's how he said it maybe. He did say in the interview that he didn't want to degrade women in this situation, but again, people are going to take what you say and then they're going to give their opinions about it.
For one, I think, I mean, I'll just insert my brief opinion here. Cam can want whatever he wants. Like, you know, anybody can. And if he finds a woman who wants the same thing, good for him. My question is the other part of this conversation that we never saw, that I don't think actually happened. Because he talked about men briefly in their role, but not really going into specifics. I would like to, Cam, if you would like to come on, Wake Up Charlotte to Go.
Please, and let's
At any point, we would love to have you come on. Because my question then for Cam would be, all right, you want a woman who's going to, you know, cook, or you want a woman who's going to let you lead. Okay, then what can she expect out of you?
Right, facts. That's super fair.
What are her expectations? What are you going to do? What are you going to cater to?
I mean, in the interview, he said men should be men. So my question would be, coming off of that statement, is he saying men should be men in a certain way so the woman can feel like she can submit? I guess you can say.
I don't know, and I think that would be a fair question.
There's a lot of questions that we need answered following this interview.
And also, it should be said, you know, if Cam wants these things and has these expectations from a partner, then a lot of women, I mean, I would think would want a ring on their finger.
Poor guy in that corporate setting. You can't say what you really want to say. He want to say something else, but he can't go there, especially with these two women on the panel. He don't want to lose his job. Bless his heart.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Right. Because marriage is one of the most selfless things you can do, because you have someone with a mirror in your face saying, you know, and you have to meet in the middle, and you have to be able to serve each other.
Totally.
And that's why marriage can be a beautiful thing. Hard, but a beautiful thing. Jay said, I cook in our house, and I'm fine with my wife being the boss.
Okay, Jay.
See?
Well, like my grandmother always said, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. Melissa says, what Cam says and does doesn't affect me. I do my best to take care of my own marriage first and foremost.
They definitely don't like the bad B term that he used. But, you know, women use this term all the time. Women congratulate each other by using this term. Like, anyway, let's stop that. But I think the bigger issue is Cam Newton is exactly the man that all these women want. Oh, trust and believe. All them women that's hating on him in the Shade Room's comments, you know, on Twitter, a lot of them, let them get a DM from Cam Newton. I bet they be on the first plane smoking, because he's their dream man. He's their dream black man. He's tall, athletic, got money, he's famous. He's just left a relationship with his son's mother. You know, I think they kind of rag, you know, they gonna use that against you too when you know, they ain't got no logical comeback. They'll just say, oh, you ain't the one to be speaking on that. I think that's what's mostly triggering the boss babes on Instagram and on Twitter, the fact that he's exactly the man they want. Men like Cam Newton, especially men like Drake. But that's the nail in the coffin for a lot of these. That's why they so butt hurt, because it came from him, a man that they definitely want. And I would like to point out a very important thing out of this, that we live in a day and age right now where the statements that he's making right now are causing such a rift, and it's causing so much of a rift that the local news is talking about it. I see podcasts and all these, you know, I know a lot of you women do not like Kevin Samuels and his message. Men have been saying this stuff for years, decades, way before he even came out. We just feel like, a lot of men just feel like now we can put a voice to things. And I'm not saying he's the one that's doing it, because a bunch of people on YouTube, besides Kevin Samuels, you guys just probably never heard about it, but men have been talking about this stuff for years. I'm glad Cam did this. And I know too that Cam got a new podcast out. I remember a couple months ago or whatever, where he was talking to Brittany Renner, the you know, the OnlyFans lady, or the social media lady. He did a conversation with her, and it went kind of viral. But I hope this kind of get the conversation going, because I know a lot of women don't like to hear it from Kevin Samuels. He has that status that a lot of women were looking for. I guarantee you, if Cam Newton asks a woman on a date, she getting to know him, what do you bring to the table? I bet she won't get offended and answer the question. I bet she won't say nothing crazy to him, because he's the guy that they want. I'm glad that he said this. And I hope it does keep the conversation moving forward. And I hope he come out with a podcast. I think he's going to try to shift his content towards talking about this kind of stuff, because he was kind of talking about it with the Brittany Renner situation. So I think he's going to start talking more about dating and relationships. But yeah, guys, I'm going to stop the video right there. I think this is just some BS. Like, I don't see anything he said wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. If I am, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.